Maybe I'll meet you. If you got time, I'll meet you out there.
Well, we don't need it. We don't need it from them now. So we don't need anything from them. What? All right, good. I had our attorney sign.
Oh, you are.
Here and it said that we're damaging. They couldn't come up with anything.
And they're tying him into well, he has been for a year.
Well, if he's got some additional information, he's never been touching this. We had Mark. He spent.
Not to my satisfaction.
Even tried to get some information from Joseph, whether they had any ordinances. They apparently don't even have a copy of their ordinance.
We have the budget coming up. Okay, they need to give us. I'd like to get that sooner than later because
I don't know. From what I saw, I mean, he's still within a certain distance. People can't see his sign. They can't see his sign from the road.
Down the street, 240 feet.
Well, it kind of goes like this, right there. Just wondering how much for that?
it's a coup. What do you think about your
I don't know. Those are all county roads out there.
Yeah, it's not a collection. It's not a. Josephville is an arterial road. One he said it's nothing but houses on the residential street.
All right, well, I'll ask him again.
That section of street.
I need to get. Have you seen the map?
It's an HVAC system. I mean, it's pretty for a person.
I mean, he's just further away from the road. And he still has a sign up. You can see it. And do we own the right of way? Do we own the right of way?
Oh, is it the same thing? Yeah, just see.
I haven't heard from any attorney for that yet, sir. No. Do you know what the attorney's name is by any chance?
Councilman Hammond, Tim, when you get Dave? Dave, 7 o'clock.
Dave.
Matt Fairless? I know him. Yeah, no, he hasn't reached out to me yet. No, sir.
7 o'clock, Dave. I didn't want him to run up the steps.
Oh, yes.
All right. I'd like to welcome you to the St. Charles County Council meeting for August 25th, 2025. For the invocation, we have Pastor Jeremy Mount from First Assembly Church in St. Peter's, Toledo. Please rise and remove your hats.
Almighty God, we ask that you would bless this gathering tonight and all those who have been called to lead in this great county and the communities in which they represent. We give you thanks for this meeting and for your purpose in it. We know that we gather together and we know that you have a divine purpose for this agenda tonight. We ask that your will be done in this council meeting. Grant us the wisdom that we need. And Lord, I pray that, Lord, you will always help us to achieve the things that you desire for us. We thank you for those who have been called to be involved in this useful work of overseeing our county and the communities they represent. We ask that you grant them the appropriate strength and wisdom and leadership tonight. We ask tonight again that we would be reminded that we're not only leaders, but we're also servants, and that our responsibility is to lead in our community and serve the common good for every person. I pray that the agenda tonight would be blessed, give our leaders an assurance that, Lord, what they do tonight would please you and benefit all those who live and work and around our beloved county. We ask this in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Councilman Hammond, lead us in the pledge. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Swanson,
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel,
Here.
Councilman Hammond,
Here.
Councilman Elam,
Yes.
Councilman Hollander,
Here.
Councilwoman York, here, Councilman Baker.
Here. Roll has been called. Next on our agenda is the public hearing for the 2026-2030 capital program and strategic plan. Do we have any speakers?
We have one speaker, Arnie Dienoff.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the County Council. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate. Just want to go over a few things on the capital improvements. This is the capital improvement plan from 2026 until 2030. It's a 5-year plan. By charter, it must be presented to the County Council with a public hearing by the order of our County Council, our County Charter, Section 6.300. There are seven criteria that try to guide these capital improvement projects. The funding sources on page 7 are very concerning. When we look at emergency communications, in 2026, the income on that is $663,600. And when you move it out towards 2030, it drops dramatically to $236,025. And according to the report that I read, it is the funding sources to pay for capital improvement projects. The family arena goes from $650,175 as a revenue source in 2026 and declines in 2030 to $152,175. The inmate commissary fund, are we going to get less inmates? Last I heard from our corrections employees at the last county council meeting is that we're increasing monthly, we're increasing our numbers in inmates. So how can the inmate commissary fund go from $46,000 in 2026 to $33,000 in 2027 through 2030? I think staff has a lot of questions to be answered here. The prisoner detainee security fund, that's another one that decreased. In 2026, that fund is $24,000. Then it goes up in 2027 to $149,000, $151,000 in 2028, and then 2029 through 30 drops to $27,000. The last that I checked, we're hiring transportation deputy sheriffs to move prisoners from the jail to the circuit court, to the appellate courts, and other courts around the area. So this funding source really needs to be either diagnosed or some real hard questions asked about what's happening to our money and our funding. The next issue I want to get into is, are we treating elected officials fairly across the board? I think Mr. Ellman and the administration like to treat the collector of revenue, the county assessor, the recorder of deeds, and the election authority director as as stepchildren, as second-class citizens. I feel that they're treating these office holders unfairly, and my question is, we have a mandate to meet compliance and make sure that state statutes are being followed, that we're funding those offices with the proper supplies and the proper equipment and capital improvements, and not nickel and diming them and charging them for technology, information system support, printers, copiers, and supplies, or right in the basic state statutes says that the county council must give them the basic tools to run their office as they see fit. Not as Steve Ellman sees fit, as they see fit as professional elected office holders. The circuit court needs new chairs replaced on the second floor where the public comes in and files pro se lawsuits in the circuit clerk filing office. I've been asking for this for 5 years. 5 years. I asked county council members to go over there and look at the chairs, how deplorable and how they're in disrepair and unrepaired. They need to be replaced. And I've asked 5 years in a row, and it's time this year that you replace those chairs that the public uses, taxpayers use, rather than buying other furniture for other folks. Our physical plant, we need to plan for an additional courthouse. We're running out of room, and in coming years there will be more circuit judges appointed by the governor who will have to run for election. I'm proposing that we look at a western second courthouse rather than either buying the St. Charles City Hall, which they have up for sale for, I believe, $25 million, and I believe it's going to be approximately $30 million in renovations. And I know that Joanne Lycum is having ongoing negotiations with the city of St. Charles to try to purchase that gold building that needs a lot of repair and a lot of updating. And I would ask that you abandon that, Mr. County Executive and Director of Administration, because it's just, we're just spending a lot of money unwisely. When it comes to the Juvenile Justice Center housing, I ask that you beef up security to ensure that we don't have escape of teenagers. We've had a number of times in the past few years of escaping juveniles from the Juvenile Justice Center. We need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Communications with the television, the people in the back room. I ask, because we spend multi-millions of dollars a year in capital improvements and salaries for, I believe it's 6 or 7 people in the back. I ask that we start broadcasting and be transparent with the public and start broadcasting the county road boards, which spend upwards of $40 to $60 million on an annual basis. Our Parks Board, which spends at least $15 and sometimes $20 million on an annual basis from the county sales tax, use tax. And our County Port Authority, which is in negotiations, and I believe they approved purchasing some property next to the Family Arena, which has got some environmental concerns and environmental testing that's coming back that's not on the favorite side of county elected officials. And so we need to be transparent and open with these huge expenditures. On page 11 of the capital improvement budget, the Community Development Department wants to buy a Cisco headset to talk on the telephone, and it's $1,000. I'll tell you what, on Amazon, I could find that same Cisco headset for $100 or less with those specifications that they need to talk on the phone. Page 12, what is the initials IDDE program replacement equipment for the administration building? I don't understand why we're trying to cover these items up or these issues up instead of just saying exactly what the program is, because I have no idea what an IDDE is. Page 13, the courthouse annex, which I talked about. There's $18 million, and I ask that you put that money towards building a new courthouse in the western part of our county. Page 14, corrections. Why are we wasting over $100 million to $150 million on renovating a dinosaur down the street on 2nd Street? We're trying to retrofit that. We're trying to make it into something that it just doesn't have the capability of doing. That corrections facility was made for a population of 100,000 people, not a population of our 433,000 today, and our ever-growing population, which I predict St. Charles County will be in the 800,000 range in the next 10 to 15 years. The next issue is page 16 of the Corrections Department. When it comes to window replacement, I've been asking the Director of Corrections and the Facilities Director for the last 4 years of when the fourth floor windows are going to be replaced facing 2nd Street. They actually have holes in the windows. We're losing valuable heat, air conditioning. You hear, they moved the inmates from the 4th floor about a year ago, but before they would yell down on the street because they took some stuff and they punched holes through those bulletproof glass windows. But when are they going to be replaced is my question. And as a matter of fact, right here at the courthouse, we're finally replacing our sidewalks and limiting the liability, but the contractor's putting in sidewalks that are not even straight. They're leaning. The sidewalk down here on this southern part of the building is leaning. And so I have some questions about the contractor meeting their specifications. When it comes to page 19, thank you to the Elections Authority for holding the line on capital improvements. All they ask for in the coming years is $10,000 for software upgrades. And so, Mr. Barr, kudos to your staff for holding the line and being conservative. Page 23, do we really need to replace vehicles in the communications department for 911 dispatch center? Last I knew, those employees were in a building over on Tom Ginever and T.R. Hughes in a newly state-of-the-art building. And so I guess we're buying Mr. Smith, the Director of Communications, a $75,000 vehicle. And what does he need lights and sirens for? He doesn't respond to calls. So he's working out of a building dispatching the calls. Let's see here. Page 24, facilities management, power washing. I see we're going to spend $50,000 on power washing. Well, I've asked for the last 3 years of the corrections director and the facilities director, when are we going to power wash the 2nd floor, the 2nd Street level of the corrections department? It's so dusty you can't even see through the windows. And so it's time that we power wash that building and get that clean and get that up to sniff. Bottle filling stations with filters. Those are needed in all of our county buildings, all across the county. And I'd like to see that project done with the filters, especially with the water here in the city of St. Charles. And it's, it's up and down whether the quality is good enough to drink or not.
Mr. Dino, if you're on 10 minutes right now, I know this is your time and everything else. Are you going to be going through all 94 pages?
It's a 100-page report, sir.
It's 94 pages, not 100. So are you going to go through all 94 pages?
I have about another page
we do have
worth
business
of...
we'd like to conduct
yeah,
tonight.
and I have another page of public testimony.
All right, please hurry up, sir.
So, when it comes to facilities department, more in-house work needs to be done with the facility staff rather than bidding out to private contractors who are making 30 to 40% on top of the project, and I think we can do a lot better with in-house employees. The sidewalks that I talked about around the county buildings, not only here, but other county buildings need major attention and replacement to afford us from liabilities. There's a lot of cracked sidewalks that have holes and gaps in them that somebody's going to twist their ankle and they're going to end up suing the county, and I want to prevent that. Page 34 of the report, mowing equipment and tractors. Why are we buying that equipment when most of our properties we contract out to have the lawn service take care of this facility and the facility down on 2nd Street and the courthouse that has a little bit of grass, if that. And so why aren't we doing that all in-house rather than paying a contractor 35 to 40% more? When it comes to the family arena, page 39, every time you turn around, that center is costing us money, money, money. It's a huge money pit, and we're not even breaking even. We're not even breaking even. It costs us millions annually, and you're even paying a consultant, Mr. Bob Schnarr, to run that facility, and it doesn't make any sense. Page 43, when it comes to vehicles, trucks, I ask that we bring it in-house maintenance. We need a central county fleet garage, or, as was brought forward, a proposal from the county ambulance district to have them do the fleet management, the oil changes, the brake changes, tire changes. Or O'Fallon can do it because they're building a new fleet facility. Parks, we have a lot of water issues and sink issues where there's no water for people to wash their hands in the parks, and there's a lot of door issues that are sticking throughout the park. I've been reporting those as I see them. Page 49, I ask at the airport, $2.5 million for another T hangar. We're not even making money at the airport either. We're not even breaking even there because if it wasn't for grants at the federal and state level, we wouldn't even be able to keep that airport open and functioning. $175,000 for an additional ground well. Do we really need another deep well for $175,000 at the airport? Last time I was out there, there's not that many people that are using the airport. $700,000 for the Heritage Building Park upgrade. Is that really necessary? What are the justifications that we need to spend that money? And then page 55 is the ultimate equestrian center. It's going to be a huge money pit. I counted up at least $30 million that you want to renovate in the next couple of years of the equestrian center, and I want to know what the return on investment is and when we're going to break even on that equestrian center. $1 million for a detention pond. That's just unbelievable that it wasn't built with a retention pond to begin with. Page 57, $1,125,000 for this courthouse. What are those projects? Because we just spent about $2 million, and especially you spent $235,000 in artwork. Somebody to paint the murals. Page 60, joint venture, $1 million. What is that? What is that? What kind of secrecy and non-transparency to the public is a joint, you call it joint venture, $1 million? When it comes to county roads, I ask that you come to some type of agreement or partnership with the city of Wentzville with Piney Road and North Point Prairie Road. Those roads are deteriorating, they're falling apart. Half of it's county, half of it's Wentzville. I've driven them the last couple days. There's numerous huge potholes that need to be corrected by both jurisdictions. It needs a lot of TLC attention, and there needs to be safety measures, and those roadways need to be made into 4 or 5 lane roadways with a turning lane and 2 lanes going each direction and all the curves taken out to make it a urban type roadway. And we need to really concentrate because of all the subdivision enhancement and the people using Missouri Highway N. We need to partner up with MoDOT and get that project moved up 5 years from the STIP and get moving on that. And my final issue, Mr. Vice Chairman, is drainage and surface water, which is right up Mr. Baker's alley. We need to pour money and some capital improvements in creating either a department of county government or a political subdivision to make sure that we are making sure that M4 restrictions through the Missouri Department of Natural Resources and our own code of ordinances, our codified code for our county, addresses drainage and surface water, that we don't end up with flooding out flood victims or families any longer in St. Charles County. Thank you very much for your indulgence, Mr. Vice Chairman, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mr. Dino. Lori, any other speakers?
Arnie, that was the final speaker for public speaking.
Thank you.
Do you want to go
Did
first?
you need him for something?
No.
Oh, that was
he's
it. All right.
gonna be-
Next on our agenda is public comments. This allows speakers to approach the council on any topic. However, once a topic is open for discussion, only 6 speakers are allowed to comment, alternating pro and con views. Each speaker has a limit to 3 minutes. Lori, first speaker.
Arnie Dinoff.
Welcome back, Mr. Dinoff.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the council. Couple things I want to go over the agenda are, number one, the appointments. 2 appointments of county employees, Brian Ludwig, the Assistant Director of Administration, and Kurt Frizz, the Police Chief. I think one of those positions needs to be a citizen who cares about law enforcement and who cares about transparency and spending of $50 million when O'Fallon is spending $38 to $40 million in a law enforcement center just 7 miles from here. When it comes to Mr. Brinkman, who is supposed to be real close to Mr. Ellman, the county executive, there's a lot of non-transparency and a lot of ethical questions, especially when he flies the governor to the Super Bowl numerous years in a row on his Learjet because he's got several hundreds of millions of dollars in profits, and he's going to be building this police facility, this police training facility, and probably going to make a 30 to 35%, maybe even a 40% profit. And I think that we need to be cognizant of this $50 million and make sure that we're spending it in the right way. And I hope that these meetings will be open and transparent to the public, and that there will be audits, and that we ensure that this $50 million is spent correctly, especially since O'Fallon's going to spend $40 million. Let's see here. There were some other issues that I had on the agenda. I applaud Mr. Ellman. This is one agreement, or one issue that we agree on, is cutting a tax break and freezing property taxes for all of our county residents. Bill number 5413 is placing a tax credit measure on the April 7, 2026 general municipal ballot regarding freezing tax liability on qualifying homesteads in the county. And I think it needs to be done. Our Board of Equalization process is not conducive. I filed an appeal on a few issues, and there's not a proper notice being given by the county. And whoever Nick is, who ran your summer internship program, dropped the ball, not only with me, but several other residents, and not knowing, letting them know per proper notice and Missouri Tax Commission rules and regulations that there was a hearing. And they call the hearings sporadically within 24 or 48 hours. And it's kind of tough when people are on vacation and out of town. And it really needs to be addressed. And I'm going to work with the county assessor in trying to refine and redress those issues. It's kind of like the judge saying that you have a summons and you need to come to court, but he never sent you a written notification, either in the mail or some other way, that you knew about the hearing that you needed to attend. And that really needs to be addressed because our citizens come first. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Dienoff. Any other speakers?
Raymond Schulte.
Welcome back, Mr. Schulte.
Good evening, County Executive, support staff, County Councilman, County Councilwoman. I want to thank you for your support for the proposed ordinance that's been Councilwoman Patty York has provided for us. And I'd like to make a few comments about that parking problem. Starting off is the Francis House School District is now in session. And we have a lot of children coming in, new families moving into the neighborhood. So we're having the buses in there morning and night, picking up and dropping off kids. And when we have these 3-day sessions at the convention center, these children are very risk of being kidnapped or even getting hurt by traffic that's on the streets there from the center. Another item is that, especially on the weekends, when we have the 3-day events, that the service trucks from the trash companies, we have 4 trash companies that pick up daily and sometimes on Saturdays, whenever there's a holiday, like coming up for Labor Day, changes their schedules, which creates a problem for them to get in to do their job. Also for all the service trucks, FedEx, UPS, Amazon, and all the rest of them, they're there daily, up and down the streets, so they can't get in if the traffic is so bad. So that's one of the problems. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now, one real thing that's kind of a tearjerker to it. I'm sure a lot of you folks remember a few years ago, maybe even 30 years ago. I'm not sure how many years it's been since we had this young Eric Cleeschulte, I believe, kidnapped from the streets of St. Charles. And his body has never been found. And you understand the horror and the fear that those families still go through today. We'd hate to see something like that happen to the neighborhood around us, convention center. It would be ripe for something like that for these sexual predators to come in there and encase the neighborhood one weekend and come back the next weekend and adopt, kidnap some child, some small child. Nobody would even know they were gone until it was too late. So anyway, that's something let's like to kind of think about when you consider this ordinance, and we would like to take and, see it passed. We would appreciate the entire councils and the executive department to support this fully and get it passed, so we kind of take care of the problem we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It's the final speaker.
All right, thank you. That brings us to the oral report from the county executive. Is there an oral report tonight?
Mike Summer is going to go ahead and give my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Director Summer?
Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight before you have the St. Charles County Capital Program and Strategic Plan for 2026 for the 2026 year and the following 4 years. This is currently a 5-year proposed capital plan that will not be funded until the operating budget is approved by the County Council later this year. This plan covers equipment, maintenance upkeep, major repairs, and construction projects from 22 different funding sources for the 29 different county departments, 18 county buildings, the family arena, the highway sheds, emergency communication towers, and 19 current county parks, and more being developed as we speak. This is an $89 million plan for the calendar year 2026 compared to the $105 million plan for the prior year, 2025. This current plans includes such things as the $4 million for the Oglesby Park Phase 2, $3 million for Spring Bend Park Phase 2, $4 million for the National Equestrian Center site development, $350,000 for the beginning of the Crime Lab expansion at the police department, and $40 million for the 2026 portion of the ongoing and new transportation improvement plan projects. One thing I want to clarify this evening is it was mentioned about the funding source that you'll find in the early part of the capital plan. This does not reflect revenue sources. What this shows us is anticipated capital expenditures for each of the next 5 years. It is not showing us revenue sources. So with that, if there's any clarification needed for any part of these items, many of the department heads are present this evening and able to provide more information for you tonight.
Thank you, sir.
And it would be helpful if you do have a question, if you could reference the page number, that might be beneficial to everybody.
All right. With that, next up is the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Or what? Mr. Baker?
No, it's the change order for that,
Which change order?
the
Number
highway
one?
department change order on the pipe.
Okay, so you would like to have change order number 1?
Yeah, that's it.
Removed?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, change order number 1 has been removed. Any other items to be removed? With that, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against, or any against? Perfect, all right. Mr. Baker, if you want to,
So, has this work, John, you mind coming up? Has this work already been done?
No, it hasn't been done yet.
So are you just trying to, you're just adding more quantities because you have the money, is it?
So we had one of our ARPA projects come in under budget, and now we're transferring that to a ARPA project that we can still add quantity to.
Okay, so you're just, it makes sense. I just want to make sure that we didn't do a bust on the quantities.
No. Basically, the CCTV contract came in under budget because we realized there are duplicate lines in our GIS system, so we had we had less footage to inspect than what we realized, so now we moved that to do more of the sewer lining that we know is needed.
Fair enough, I appreciate your answer, thank
Yep.
you.
so, can I have a motion to approve
I make
that
a
item?
motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Consent agenda has passed. We do have a resolution to pass. This is in regard to the 2026-2030 capital program strategic plan for St. Charles County. The county charter states that the executive branch must submit a plan to us. It does not say that we must agree with it, but it has to be delivered to us. I know there's been a lot of questions. I know Mr. Brazel, Mr. Baker, Ms. York, you guys have all submitted questions along with myself. We remembered that we still have an opportunity to discuss all of this when we get into the budget time period. So this is just the first step. Any questions regarding the plan?
I'll read it. I'll read
you
the
gotta read it.
resolution
Okay.
first. Resolution number 25-09, sponsored by council as a whole. A resolution adopting the 2026 through 2030 capital program and strategic plan. Whereas the St. Charles County Charter, Article 6, Section 6.301, requires the county council to adopt the capital program and strategic plan no later than 2 months prior to the final date of the submission of the budget. And whereas the St. Charles County Charter, Article 6, Section 6.201, requires that on or before the 5th day of November or the first working day after the 5th of November each fiscal year, the county executive shall submit to the county council a budget for the ensuing fiscal year and an accompanying message. And whereas the county executive has presented the plan to the county council as required by the charter, a public hearing has been held on it, and it has been made available for inspection by the public on the county's website under the Department of Finance. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Council of St. Charles County, Missouri as follows. Section 1. The plan attached hereto as Exhibit A, known as the Capital Improvement Program years 2026 through 2030, is hereby approved. Section 2. Compliance with the terms of the Capital Improvement Program years 2026 through 2030 shall be the responsibility of the county executive.
All right, do we have any questions? Mr. Brazel.
As I said when I was talking to you guys earlier, I won't be supporting this plan because I had asked for a work session and we didn't get it. We don't get work sessions like we used to. We used to get them once a month. We never get work sessions when you ask to have a conversation. And we're spending over $400 million. Now, I heard what they said and I heard what you said, but let me remind you guys, I've been on this council a long time, and what happens is when we approve the capital plan, what's said is, well, it comes up to us for a vote, and, well, would you support it on a capital plan? I mean, with little conversation. So I will not support this because I wanted a work session on it. I want to know why they're spending $31 million on the NEC. I do not that I don't support it. I want to know the plan. And we're spending all this money on the jail. Aren't we doing like a $100 million renovation? Why are we buying $75,000 in toilets? Why are we putting windows in when we're doing the construction? Those are the questions I have. But I'm not going to sit here while I'm working every day hard. This is a part-time job, and I ask a few questions and get no answers, and then I say, why don't we just have a work session to talk this thing through, and we don't get it. It's ridiculous. So I'm not supporting it. I mean, you guys can pass $450 million if you want, but it's irresponsible because there's no input from the council. You guys did not even ask us one thing. What's on your 5-year wish list? You used to do that. You don't do it anymore. The council is losing so much authority and so much, what we do for our constituents is not what it used to be. And so I'm not going to support this. If they don't ask me and ask me what is on my wish list for my constituents or District 2, I'm not supporting it.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Executive?
Yeah, I don't remember that in the 20 years that I've been here ever citing what anybody did on this when we bring you a budget. We are not spending $1 tonight. We are spending nothing. This has been in the charter from the beginning. It's probably a good idea because it does force us to tell you what we're thinking. Okay, it does tell you what we're thinking, and we're thinking, you know, in the next 5 years, we want to look at this and this and this. We may bring none of that actual to you, or we may bring something different. And yeah, this is your opportunity. If you think we should be thinking about something else, tell us. But this is simply to suggest that we are spending anything tonight. That is the wrong word, and that misleads the people at home that are watching us on TV. This is not like a regular budget. This is just a blueprint of, at this point, where we think we might be going. A lot's going to depend on what happens the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, do we have a good economy? Do we have a bad economy? The NEC is not, that money isn't all for the NEC. We want to build another pet adoption center out there. I don't know why we put it under the NEC, because it's going to be on that property. But, we may not decide not to bring that to you if the money's not available when we're ready to do it. So I think, this is a time for you to ask us questions. This is a time for you to ask us, why are we thinking in a certain way? But there's nothing going to happen after tonight on all this. each dollar that is proposed to be spent will have to be in a budget in the year that it's gonna be spent.
If I may, you said this is what we think. Well, I would like to say this is what all of us think, and that's not what we're getting. And so I would also say that the amount of money you guys are spending it's a business plan. Right, it's not approved budget, it's a business plan. And when you develop a business plan, if we were sitting on a board on a corporation, we'd want to be part of that business plan, know what the projection is in 5 years. I don't know what they're thinking. I didn't know, this pet adoption center, that's great. It may be great, it may not be great, but it is in my district. I mean, don't you think that the council members, since we are elected by the people in our county, that we should maybe have a conversation? Why would it be so hard to have a work session on this? I don't understand it. I mean, there's a lot of things in here that you got to question, and there could probably be very simple answers, Steve, but it's not a matter of us sitting down here and this is now when we have the questions, 10 minutes during a council session? Seriously, this is a 2-hour conversation with the council members to see what the direction of the county is. And maybe you don't know it, but I did ask for a work session, and like always, we don't do work sessions because our chairman doesn't do work sessions. But that's the problem I'm having with this. It's not about you guys so much, and I'm not even saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying as a councilman, as elected in this county, we should have an idea what the plan is and what our future and what our forecast is. But we're not included in those conversations. I have no idea what you guys are doing.
We're having a conversation right now, Joe. I mean,
Steve, this is a 5-minute conversation. This is much more involved than that. I'm not going to sit here and go like, hey,
I mean, do you
I
have
hate
an
to say this, but
amendment?
Dino's right on about everything he said. I mean, some of the questions he asked are very legitimate, and this is more of a conversation than just to have this little exchange here. I can't sit here and go through 95 pages. That's why I wanted a work session. So that's my point. It's not about you guys. It's not like I disagree. I just don't agree with not having a conversation about it. That's what I'm saying.
Makes sense. Mr. Baker?
Well, I
I
agree with Joe. I mean, we were elected by the people of our districts. We should have more input than having to ask questions. So, I mean, I agree 100% with what Joe's saying.
Okay. Mr. Hollander?
Yeah, I was, interested in reading emails that were sent by Councilman York, Councilman Swanson, and Mr. Baker about this. And they asked pretty, I thought, very intelligent, extensive questions. And Ms. Lycum answered them as thoroughly as I thought she possibly could. So, that was a period of time in which the administration was at least attempting to explain and answer questions that people on the council had about this. So,
But it's a
Councilman, hold on,
conversation
Mr.
between
Baker.
us.
Councilman York, do you have
Between
anything
them,
to
not
add?
between us.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Councilman York, do you have anything to add? Councilman Hammond?
No.
All right. And we did have plenty of time to review it. I reviewed it, sent a very long email to Ms. Slacum, got all the responses back. I published all those, so it's complete transparency that's out there. I know you did as well, Councilman York, Baker. So we did have time to go through it. It is kind of cumbersome. It is a plan that's out there. Some stuff I agreed with, some stuff I didn't agree with. But part of our job is to receive this per the charter. We have received it. So any other final questions?
Can I have
or
one
comments?
question?
Go ahead.
This will come back during the budget process,
Yes.
correct?
Okay.
So
100%.
if in the meantime we say, I don't like something, I want something else, we would propose that, and all of this can still be changed at that time.
Everything can be changed.
And we are going to have work sessions on the budget even
Yes,
if I
we do.
have dinner at my house and you call.
We will have it here. We've had it each time. County Executive?
Real quickly, the language says, the county executive shall prepare and submit to the county council. That's what the charter says. And if you all want a different process, if you want to do this differently, that's fine. I would probably support changing the charter. If you want to go ahead and do it and we don't have to, that would be great. I guarantee you, my staff spends a lot of time working on this. And if you want to be, when this is coming up, if there's something you want in it and you want to talk to us, that's fine. We'll be glad to consider it. But at this point, it's just a burden on us, and it makes us think down the road. Okay, what would we really like to do? It's a wish list. And you know how much time you guys spend on the budget every year. I mean, you have 2 or 3 different sessions. I think everybody has a chance to answer or ask as many questions as they want. And yeah, I mean, we could spend a lot of time having a work session on this, but it wouldn't, in the end, we'd still have to come back and go through the whole thing again before we actually got $1.
So I think we all understand. Mr. Hammond, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to say, having been a past department head, you know, it's tough to get capital stuff approved through administration because they keep a pretty tight rein on the county's money. And I can tell you in the past, that's the way it is. The department heads submit their capital improvements that they want to make, and then it's scrutinized by the county exec's office, and then it ends up here.
All right. So with all that been stated, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We'll read
Roll
the
call?
title call.
There's a roll
Oh,
call.
you got to do that. Okay, go ahead, Claire.
Resolution 25-05, a resolution adopting the 2026 through 2030 capital program and strategic plan. Councilman Brazel?
No.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
No.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes. Motion passes. With that, next on the agenda is bills for introduction, beginning with Bill 5409.
Bill number 5409, requested by John Lyons, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance approving a supplemental agreement with the Missouri Department of Transportation for the Hepperman Road Phase 2 project.
Are there any questions or comments regarding bill number 5409? I have to say, I look forward to this one. It's a highly traveled area. It's about a half mile that they're going to be improving, putting rumble strips in and expanding the shoulders. I think it's going to be a great addition to finishing off Hepperman. So next up is, let's see, Bill 5410.
Bill number 5410, requested by John Lyons, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance approving a supplemental agreement with the Missouri Department of Transportation for the Duello Road Phase 2 project.
Are there any questions or comments regarding 5410? None? Hearing none, next bill is 5411.
Bill number 5411, requested by Chief Kirk Friz, sponsored by Mike Elam, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Federal Bureau of Investigation for a multi-jurisdictional response to improvised explosive devices between the Federal Bureau of Investigation in St. Charles County on behalf of its police department.
Are there any questions or comments regarding bill number 5411? Next up is bill 5412.
Bill number 5412, requested by Sarah Evers, sponsored by Mike Elam, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for Women, Infants, and Children, WIC Local Agency Nutrition Services Program.
Are there any questions or comments regarding bill number 5412? Next up is bill 5413.
Bill number 5413, requested by Steve Ellman, sponsored by council as a whole. An ordinance placing on the ballot of the Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 general municipal election, providing for the authorization of a tax credit program whereby the real property tax liability on an eligible taxpayer's homestead shall not be increased above the liability incurred during the initial credit year established by law.
Questions, comments regarding 5413? Mr. Baker.
County Executive, can you give an update on this? And
Yeah.
does it not include certain funds? Because I know there's still some confusion over the seniors.
There's a lot of confusion about it. Well, not on the seniors, but it's very much like the senior thing, except it's for every homestead.
Right. I know there's just some confusion because their tax bills do go up because it doesn't include everything.
Well, the confusion is that unlike the senior tax, it was up to you all whether or not our folks even had a chance to vote on it. Okay? This requires us to put it on the ballot. And we're one of, 15 counties that have to do it. There's another 40 counties that don't, and 20 others in between. And I think that's a violation of the Constitution, which has 4 different types of counties and requires people be treated the same way within each one. So I wanted to get this out there so that we can start a discussion about it, because I think if this goes on the ballot and we have to put it on, I think it's going to pass. And what I don't want to do is have it pass and have everybody get all excited and then some judge throw it all out and say, no, you can't do it. So I'm hoping that by bringing this up as early as possible, that when the legislature goes back in January, the first thing they do is to fix this, to make sure that it doesn't get thrown out by the courts later on.
Yeah, 'cause-
Mayor.
any other questions?
Yeah, is this all property owners or just seniors?
No, this is,
It's all, okay, so,
seniors are already getting, this is every homestead.
okay, and so my next question is it's just gonna be the county tax, or we can't freeze all the other taxes, like the school taxes and everything else, can we?
Yeah, this is all property taxes.
So it's everything? Okay,
That's,
now,
the senior tax, we froze everybody's.
yeah,
Yeah, and this will do the same thing.
so if there's any.
If the people vote for it. Now, there'll be a big debate about that, and there'll be the usual arguments about, the schools are not getting enough, or the schools are getting too much, or whatever. It's kind of easy, this is kind of an easy issue for us, because only 5.6% of our budget comes from property taxes. And we all know property taxes are the least favorite tax out there. And the good news is, we don't rely upon them like some other people do. So, this is something that I just don't want to go through all the debate and all of the yelling and screaming about this, and then have some court go ahead and throw it all out. So there's already been one lawsuit filed on this. And we've got to put it on. So again, instead of waiting usually we'd have waited until January and put this on in January, because the second meeting is when we'd have to actually file it. So hopefully by the time we do vote on it in April, it'll be much clearer exactly what is going to happen, and a better idea that the courts will go ahead and agree that it's constitutional.
One last question. On this freeze, if, like, our property taxes are extremely high in St. Charles County, very high. And if in fact they get reduced somehow, or get eliminated somehow, if that's even possible, would this freeze it to where it is, or would it be retracted down below? I mean, can it go backwards?
Freeze it what it was last year, wasn't it? 24?
It will, but I think your question is about the fact that how does the Hancock Amendment lay in on top of that?
Yeah.
And that, the way the statute currently reads, as it's gone forward, is that the credit that's given to the homeowner, the homestead owner, then you act like the credit was actually received by the jurisdiction. And that is still laid on top, even though that money will not come to the jurisdiction for purposes of the Hancock calculation.
What I'm saying though is that, let's say you're paying $5,000 a year in property tax or whatever it is, and it gets reduced somehow for a windfall or whatever happens or whatever, and then it's $2,000. Is it frozen at the 5, or can it go reversed, or is it frozen?
2024.
It can always go down.
Well, can I answer it this way?
Yeah.
So assuming that there's no new tax in the jurisdiction, and assuming that the voters in that jurisdiction have not raised that tax, because both of those could result in an increase. If you had a $5,000 tax in 2024, which is the base year for every homesteader in the state where this passes, then what happens is for each of those jurisdictions that's getting a part of that $5,000, that money is still sent to the state treasurer to calculate the Hancock rollback. And the tax credit that each of those homeowners will potentially get is added back into that revenue by the jurisdiction as if they're receiving revenue. And then that will result in the final Hancock amount. So you could, in reality, have something lowered beyond the 24 rate because of Hancock.
Okay, so then my
Does that
question
make
would.
sense?
Yes, it does, and so my next question would be, shouldn't the language say that it can't exceed, but it can be reduced? Shouldn't it say that in the language?
Well, the language says pursuant to the statute.
Is it,
And since right now, as the county executive explained, he's really hoping that the legislature fixes some issues with this statute, including the fact that there are 3 different categories of how counties are treated. They either get up to a 5% increase, they don't get any increase, or they have no limitations on them at all. That if we started going into the details of the current statute instead of referring people there, it could cause some real issues depending upon what happens down the road.
If it sounds like deja vu, it is. When Councilman Swanson said, why don't we show some leadership and pass that senior thing several years ago, we did. And then we got busy, we went to Jeff City before it went into effect and changed the language to make sure that some judge didn't throw it out. So I'm hoping that by talking about this now, we can put legislators on notice. See, it doesn't apply to St. Louis City or County, which is why you haven't seen anything about it in the newspapers or on TV or radio. If this was going to be done over there, we'd have had all kinds of discussion about it. So we need to make sure people in Franklin, Jefferson, St. Charles is where it is possibly going to happen. And you know, I've talked to the executives down there and suggested they might want to do the same thing, just to get people talking about this and let our legislators know, hey, fix this thing, because we don't want to go through all this and then find out, that we're not doing it right.
Councilmember York?
My question is, we pass this ordinance and then it doesn't get fixed. Do we then still have to hold the April 7th?
We don't have to turn it in until January
But the
Yeah,
ordinance
it's the
would say
third
that we,
Tuesday in January, but the current statute says we shall send this. So the only thing we could do is if we don't get the Hancock payment for the actual election from the state, is ask a court to relieve us of the duty. But that puts you in a very difficult position where the voters who are expecting this relief
right,
are saying, wait, what happened?
right.
So
But my other point is, do we even have to send it to the voters if it's not going to pass?
Yes.
We're not going to be able to fix it. We still want to send it to the voters.
We have to send it to the
Okay.
voters. That's been in the bill, signed by the governor, goes into effect on September the 9th. I can think that'll, be the day after our,
yeah, it'll be the day after
the
your
day
meeting,
after
the
your
county
next meeting,
executive
if
will sign
you
it.
do pass it then. If you don't pass it then, we don't have to pass it until January. But I want to start the discussion about it.
Right.
And I think we should pass it, and we can always withdraw it later.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Can we withdraw it?
Yeah, no, we won't send it in.
Okay.
Councilman Baker?
Yeah,
final
first off,
question.
I appreciate you guys take a point on this. I think we were one of the leading counties to do the senior tax, so hopefully we're the leading county doing this, so I appreciate that. My question is now, can the fire districts and the school districts still pass, ask for a tax increase? And then, it's capped on what our portion is, but not the schools and the library?
I'm sorry, Kenny, are you okay if I answer that? Or do you want-
Well, I mean, the point is, you can still raise taxes. Right now, they're raising them because assessments go up or
Right.
or whatever. The school districts, the fire districts, whatever, they can still raise taxes,
Okay.
but they have to go to the voters and get it approved.
Okay, it's just assessments.
So,
is
yeah,
capped.
you can still raise taxes, but short of them doing that, the taxes is gonna be frozen.
That makes sense, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, that brings us to our last bill, Bill 5414.
Bill number 5414, requested by Samantha Shadrack, sponsored by Mike Elam. An ordinance amending the Personnel Administration Program, Section 115.710, ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, to include a title change related to a position in family court services.
All right, any questions or comments regarding Bill 5414? With that, that concludes bills for introductions. Are there any announcements or miscellaneous? Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Baker.
it was nice to see Jared Schmidt's family at the White House today. So, you know, and acknowledging the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. And so, it was just good to see them there, so.
That was going to be my announcement. If
sorry.
you're not familiar, this is the 4-year anniversary of the Abbey Gate debacle that happened when we left Afghanistan. And the Schmidt family, along with all 13 families, were brought to the Oval Office today. President Trump met with them all. What you do not know is I did ask Mr. Schmidt to be here tonight to lead us in the pledge and then talk about his Freedom 13 organization that he has, but I literally got trumped. Okay, Elam's not here, I had to do one joke. I mean, I know, Mike, you're listening, so there you are.
He's
Mr.
doing a
Executive.
book signing tonight.
What's that?
You talking about Senator Schmidt?
No.
Jared Schmidt.
Jared
Oh,
Schmidt's.
oh,
Mark
spot the
Schmidt.
dead, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, with that, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion.
Second?
Motion made.
All right, we are adjourned. Yeah, thank you. Getting the hang of it. Little by little.